My name is Pedro Pina. I'm coming from Domatica. I'm business development. And I want to begin to thank you, BlueStar, for the invitation and to share our experience on IoT with you. So a quick introduction of Domatica. Domatica was founded in 2002. We started to develop a framework for monitoring and control. At that time, IoT does not exist. And from the last years, we have been adapted our technology for this new trend, the IoT, and we starting to deploy some cases that I will show you now. Okay, so the Internet of Things means that we can connect everything to the cloud, and from the cloud we can monitoring and sensing all the data. So from the car mobility, from the factories, animals, appliance, buildings, and the city, everything can be connected to the cloud, and from the cloud we can get this information. There is some numbers regarding the growing of IoT. If you go to the web, you find different numbers, but they are more or less this one. But at 2015, it was more devices connected to the internet than people on Earth. So this is something that is present and will be growing, but exists today. So the major target of IoT is to convert the electrical signals in business information. So, and I will show you some examples how to convert field information on business information. I know that is in the morning, but it's not a good time to talk about VR, but I will give you some example how IoT can improve the business. So imagine a beer tap is connected to the internet, and we have projects that we have this working. And from this operation information, you can see a beer consumption profile. So you have this information. This example is a beer, but imagine can be temperature, can be counting people, can be temperature, wherever you can measure. So from this information, you can give to the owner of the bar an idea how the consumption is doing during the day. So it takes this information and can adjust human resources according to the peaks of consumption. Okay. Also, it can make happy hours on the hours that is less consumption. So you have a full view from the beer tap. It can see the business. What is good in the IoT, it's the same information that it's going to the owner of the bar can go to the distribution. So the distribution can also know on the area what are the stock, what are the consumption of the bar. So it can organize a distribution of the beers according to the needs of the customers, okay? And even the manufacturer can receive this information and also organize the production in general. So from one information, we can divide it and you can share from different players, and these players can adjust the business according to the needs. Everybody knows that the beer consumption is associated with temperature. So if we start to cross beer consumption with temperature or forecast, we can predict consumption. So this starting to join information from different levels and create a business view and a forecast of consumptions. Or, for instance, Santander have traffic information, have the parking information. So if we have on the area a parking information from the VAR, we are crossing people on the area, temperature, and we can predict consumption, and we can predict more information. So all these informations are being created, and then you have business intelligences, machine learning algorithms that you can predict more the things. Also, you can put some free popcorns, and what is the best? Is salty or it's sweety? So you can really create models and create information and analyze this information for your business. So you can orient it to focus on your business. So today the challenge is on the industry and business is to be more efficiency. And efficiency normally is coming with information. So what we can see on the market or on business, it's normally we have silos of information. For instance, in industrial, maintenance have its own systems. You know, when the machines need to make maintenance, they know everything about the machine. Production have its own information, and only we fix it there. Financial and management also have silos of information. This is we can see this on industrial, but we can see also in the cities. So cities have silos of information, and the information is not shared between the organizations. So the idea is to put all the information together and divide it for the company. For instance, the productions. Productions have information about how many pieces has been done, what was the downtime of the production, the number of the costs. The maintenance need to have the number of time to maintenance, number of operations, machine alarms, machine downtime. So these informations are there, but normally they do not arrive to these guys. And this information can be shared with these guys to make business decisions. For instance, the number of downtime of the machine is important to know why the machine is broken. It's because it's an old machine, because it's people does not know how to work with machine. So the management need to know to make decisions to if they want to buy a new machine or not. If a machine was supposed to work 8 hours a day, and if it is working 6 hours a day, the management can decide to put more production on that line and to make more money. Okay. So let's go to some examples. Livestock farming. We have a project with pigs and poultry farming, and the main goal it was to monitoring the animal growing. Okay, so on a pavilion where the animals are growing, you have several variables to read it. So it's temperature, it's humidity, ventilation. So there is several informations on that pavilion that you need to analyzing. And what they have now, the present situation is local, the controllers, where you are there, you need to check every time on the place what are these parameters and to check and change these parameters locally. Of course, this is very difficult when you have a lot of pavilions. And to make this, it's a very difficult task to control all these pavilions. Of course, if you have more than 2 farms, it's much more complex. And if you have much more farms, it's very complex to organize this. So we implemented a system where all the information from the pavilion going to the internet, going through IoT technology, where you can see what's happened on each pavilion. So, and with this, you have a full control and a full overview of all these places where they have farming. Explain a little bit how the things are done. So you have normally local controls or devices on the pavilions. These devices are connected to IoT gateways that communicated to the cloud, to GPRS, Ethernet, or sometimes in satellite, because the internet covering is very poor, like in Brazil, some parts of Brazil where we have projects there, the internet access is only by internet. And then on the top, you have the data visualization and the data control. In this case, we have increased the animal welfare. So before the system was implemented, one guy was going to the pavilion and say, okay, this is too much cold, because he was from the north of Europe. So he put a cool down the system. On the next day, another guy was there and said, oh, it's too hot, because the guy was from Brazil. So everybody was changing the temperature according to the perception of eating, because the perception of eating is different from everybody. So they stop at that now. It's the chief, or the veterinary chief, that on the top say, I want these temperatures on my pavilions. So everything is regulated by the head of veterinary. Also allows to the head of the veterinary to make experience that he cannot do it before. So each pavilion now, it's a laboratory. So he can make different set points and to see what are the best results for the growing of the animals. So that's something that before he cannot do it. By implementing this, the number of dead animals that occur during the growing has decreased about 50%, because you have much more control on every parts and every aspects of the animal welfare. Also, you can predict disease before the disease appears. For instance, with water consumptions. If the animals starting to drink more or less water, means that they have are preparing to have a disease. So you can prevent this kind of things. Okay. Becomes more efficiency. This company that we have implemented have saved 5 million euros per year on energy costs, okay? Because before, everything was on, and nobody cares. Now the systems auto-regulate, and you can see if it is hot on the outside, does not need to heating inside the pavilions. So everything now it's automated. For instance, the number of deaths they reduce on the piglets. It was because they have a heating system to put the animal hot, and sometimes it's too much hot on the niche, so the animal gets out from the niche and goes close to the mother, and sometimes the mother smash the piglets. So this is one example. If we adjust the environment according to what is needed for the piglets stay on the niche. Okay. Also, control critical equipment. One of the cases is that they have food systems in silos, and they have food distribution through tubes, and sometimes the tube is broken. So everybody thinks that the animal they are eating, but the food is going to the floor. So the system also can control this kind of information. So we are seeing if the animals are eating and what time they are eating, and all this kind of information. For instance, if the animal one animal goes eat during the night, sometimes the motor starting to put food on the places, and other animals wake up and go to eat. So what they did, it's during the night there is no food to the animals to prevent they sleep and not wake up and eating because someone is eating. Okay. And also they have now everything on this mobile phone. So alarm systems, problems they can see on the mobile phone. Normally, before the systems, they wake up and then they will to farm 1, farm 2, farm 3. So it was to doing all the travels between the farms. Now they wake up, they go to the computer and see where they have problems, and then go to the farms where they have problems. With these changes, to go visit all the farms or to go to visit the farms that they have problems, they save 60,000 miles per year on car movements, okay? And then they are visiting the farms with real problems, not farms that everything is normal. Another project that we are working, it's coffee. So let's create a coffee machine with IoT connectivity. So coffee machines, they have information there. They have the pressure, the temperatures, water consumption, energy consumption, and the localization. So these espresso machines are giving this information, and normally the information is here. It's a silo of information. The information does not get out of here. So we connect this to the internet, so the machine become a thing on the internet. And with this information, we are giving business information to the owner, where he can see if the quality is good, if the temperature of the water is adjusted to the requirements of the coffee, if the seconds, because the coffee is an art. for me before, coffee, it's a coffee. But now, when I was working on this project, they told me, no, the coffee must be between 23 seconds in the water drop. It's the perfect coffee. So now they are counting this number of seconds to make sure that the coffee is a good coffee. But if you change the brand of the coffee, can be more or less time, or even the pressure can be adjusted according to the type of the coffee. So with this information, they are starting to have a full idea of the perfect coffee. Also, make sure that hygienizations of the machine is always checked, because every liters of water the machine needs to be cleaning. And they can minimize the break time, because the systems inform the central if the machine is broken or not, so they can prevent and sending people there. And the most important, they have information about sales. So free coffee for the friends, starting to be much more difficult, because they can check it, how many coffees they are making, and how much coffees they are selling, so they can cross this information. Also, for the coffee distributor, one thing that is very important is to make sure that the owner of the coffee shop buy his own coffee. In Portugal, and I believe that everywhere is the same, the coffee distributor takes an espresso machine and put by free the machine on the coffee shop. And they make a contract and say, okay, you buy me coffee, and the price of the coffee, because I give you the machine for free, you need to buy this for each kilo X euros or X dollars. So they put the machine there, they're starting to buy the coffee from the distributor, and sometimes they go to the supermarket and they will buy different coffee because it's more cheaper than the contract. So the distributor is losing money because he puts by free the machine and are buying the coffee on the supermarket. So now they can control and guarantee that the coffee that they are making, it's from them, because they know how many kilos of coffee they sell it, and then they have an average how many coffees it's needed to do. So with this silos information now is connected to the internet, so we take electrical signals on business information. So what is really good on the IoT is to make basic information, silos information on a business and to different kind of players inside. Also, the coffee distributor, with this information, now is thinking different business opportunities or business models. So they are not selling kilos, they are selling number of coffees. So they don't mind if they go buy to another one, because they are selling the number of coffees. Okay? So even the business model is changing because they have this information. So I have another example. So it's electrical generators. We have these generators, they are installed on a customer in Angola. So this is a project on a bank in Angola, where Angola is a fantastic country, because you have everything, but it fails everything. So for your understanding, in Luanda, the capital, every building, every houses, they have electrical generator, because the electrical light is not good enough. So it's always fell down and can be 1 hour, 2 hours without electricity. So they cannot trust on the infrastructure. So every building have his own electrical generator. The same is for the water. So public water is not good for drinking. So they have the containers of water to drinking and to use for the normal situations. So what's happened on this bank? Also, each agency, they have the operations of the agency, and they have normally 2 generators. And sometimes, a lot of times, the electrical power is cut. Someone forgot to order diesel for the generator. So there is no electricity on the agency. So this is a problem because the agency cannot work, and then they cannot make their own business. So all these generators now are monitoring, and we are monitoring the full level, how many hours they are working, how many hours to the maintenance, and give this information to a NOC, a Network Operation Center, where they have several screens, and they are seeing what's happened everywhere in the agencies. So they know the diesel capacity, the water, and if the status of the UPS generator and the electrical network. So they have all this information on these screens. Okay. So now, if they're starting to see the level of the diesel, before it was manually, so they send orders, but now it's automatically. They send the orders automatically for the diesel distributor to make refill on the diesel tanks. Okay. So these are the information that they take. How many hours the generator is working, the activity, switch on, switch off, time to maintenance. So they have information of diesel tanks and the status, and something very important for them, and with this, they pay the system in 6 months. Sometimes, mysteriously, the diesel fuel in 5 minutes was dropped down, a lot of liters. It was not working. It's not by working. Someone is stolen diesel from the deposit. So that is regular in Angola. So now they detect it, because if the diesel drop down in a short time, it's not normal. So the system detected and signalizing that someone is stolen the diesel. Also, the guy that went there say, now, okay, it's full. They detected 19% of the situation, it was not full. It was 80, 75% full, and then the guy sell diesel for other friends. So only by this, the system was paid in 6 months, so it's really a success case for this. Okay, so how to deliver IoT projects? That is probably the questions that you have in mind, how we can deliver IoT projects. We divide it in 2 areas. One is the solutions. It's ready-to-go solutions where you take a package with certain devices and you put it there, and the system is working. And normally, it's projects where you need to do investigations. You need to know how to adapt the reality for the internet connections. An example of solutions. You know these run watches? So they are making the speed, the number of steps, the heart rate. So this is a full solution, IoT solutions. You put that on the arm, and everything is working. Okay, so this is what we call solutions. So with Domatica, with our experience, we have been creating solutions, for instance, for energy metering. So it's possible to have a standard package and say, okay, I want to measure the energy on a building, on a factory, on a machine. So you can take this out of the box, put it working, and you don't need to have a lot of engineers to build the solution. Also for the environment. So you take certain sensors, humidity, CO2, temperature, you put it on a box, go to the place, to the site, install it, and everything is working. So it is now possible to make solutions on IoT, okay? Because normally what we have each case is a unique case, because a machine on a factory, they have different configurations from a factory to another factory. So we need to look at the machine to see what are the sensors, what is important information. So in each case, it's a case. We have also working on gas cylinders. So we need there is no on-the-shelter solutions. We need to understand what's happened, to develop specific hardware for that solutions, to see what technologies that we can use. Are we using Bluetooth for data expressions? Are we putting new trends like narrowband IoT? So we need to look and to make a project from each situations. Or we have a project running on a Chinese manufacturer. These are the aromatic dispensers. So the idea is to make aromatic dispensers IoT devices. So means when I go home, I want some lavender or some other roses or another smells. I press the button on my mobile phone, and when I arrive home, everything is done. So we are working with this Chinese company to make connectivity of this system. Also, this is useful for the end user, but the main client is the distributor of these equipments, because they can control if they are empty or not, and make more cells over it, okay? So we can say, okay, we detected that your system is low. Do you want to make a new order of this smell, of this new product? And you can order by phone. So this is the situation that we call project, because IoT sometimes you need to look for each problem and make a solution, or sometimes with our experience we can package and we are ready to go to the market with solutions. For you, working on this business, you are already sell barcoding scanners. So you are selling information to your customers, okay? So you need to think how we can convert the information, the signals that we are selling, in business information on this new reality of IoT. So you have industrial clients. So on industrial clients, they need information. They have silos of information, how we can put together. You have retail, you have the restaurants, you have warehouse where sometimes they have cooling systems and they need to monitoring this cooling system. So you, on your business, you have contacts with these customers. Industrial customers, restaurants, hospitals, all these customers, they need to have IoT solutions. Probably you need to search with the persons what are the pain they feel it, and IoT can solve the problems with the pain they have it. So it's you have a good opportunity because you are already inside this market, and you can thinking how we can convert signals on business information to these specific customers. Okay? So thank you for your time.